slider. Got vlogging issues again. My intercom camera, I can't get the damn camera to turn on. Been sitting in a parking lot for 20 minutes trying to figure out what's wrong. So I'll just have to use the two GoPros. Got nothing facing from my face. Darn, that makes me mad. Electronic things don't work. It was just working just before I left the house. I turned it on to make sure I had it pointed in the right direction, and now it doesn't work. Well, you don't want to listen to that. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, and slide that slider all the way over to the right, down at the bottom of the video. If you can't finish watching it, I would appreciate it. That way YouTube won't penalize me. The fun got interfered with by non-working electronics. But I'll make do with the way it is and enjoy the ride. Since it's starting to be cold in the morning, although it's 82 now, but it is starting to get cold in the morning, I thought I would talk about cold weather riding and ask you all for what you do for cold weather riding. Do you have any tips? I always seem to underestimate how cold it's going to be, unless it's really cold when I leave. But you know, if it's 50 degrees, I think, oh yeah, I don't need this and I don't need that, and then I get out on the road and lo and behold, I'm cold. I would like to ride more in the winter time, but it's just so cold. For the most part, I only do it a few days a month in the winter. I used to do it all the time. Didn't matter, didn't bother me. I have heated pant liners and heated gloves, but the gloves are just too stiff, and it's too hard to plug in the second one after you plug in the first one. If I take it off, then it just unplugs, so I can't do it. You know, I can't plug them in before I put them on my hands and then plug them in, because I got to pull it so far forward it unplugs them. So I don't even use the heated gloves. I do use the heated pant liners from time to time. If I think about it before I go, and I'm trying to turn on this helmet cam again, and it's just not turning on. The Bluetooth is on. Or it was on. Maybe it's not on now. I don't know. I can't hear it. Oh, stalled it. You know why I started to let the clutch out. It's not done to go yet. I'm getting frustrated with this. You spend money and buy something. I already sent one back because the microphone didn't work. It was so quiet. You couldn't I could only hear me if I put it on my desktop and with the amplified speakers and cranked up the amplifier all the way, and then it was all full of hissing noises too. So I took that one back and I got this one, and everything seemed to be working, but now this morning the camera wouldn't turn on. The other day when I had it on, my audio was no good. It was just full of wind noise, even though I've got dead cat on the mic, and that's what I have on my other mics for the GoPro mics. But when I was stopped, it was okay. You could hear my engine, you could hear me talking, but then when I get going, all you heard was, it sounded like wind. It was a windy day, but my GoPro mics don't sound like that. This is a completely different mic. I can't just change out the mic. It's the mic and the speakers are all in one, and it's proprietary plug-in. Kind of like the GoPro Hero 3 and 4's mic plug-in, but it's not, because I tried to use one of those adapters with a regular microphone in it. It doesn't plug in. It's not exactly the same shape. Okay, back to the winter riding. And I tried a full-face helmet in the winter. In addition to it just squeezing too hard on my side of my face, if I got one that didn't squeeze, then it shook around in the wind when I was riding, and I didn't like that either. But in addition to that, when I closed the face shield to try to keep my face warm, it just fogged up. And then the cold air came in anyway. So all in all, that was 2 helmets that I lost money on. I mean, I sold them. I didn't just throw them away, but I paid $58, I think, for the first one. That I decided was too small, even though it's the same size as all my other helmets. I paid $55 for that one, $58. I sold it for $25. Then I bought an expensive one. Back and forth, side to side, whatever, and I couldn't see very good with it doing that. That was like $210 or something. I sold that one for $130. Never bought another one. This was like about 12, 13 years ago when the cold first started getting to me. It still hadn't stopped me from going out riding, but it would get to me. Oh, it's 1 o'clock already. I slept in real late, didn't get up till almost 10. But I like to sleep in. I'm not an early riser. I had to get up early for most of my jobs, and I hated it when I had to work an evening shift, because I didn't have to get up early, but I didn't like not getting off at 4 or 5 o'clock either. I'd be going in just before everybody else was going home. these coffin hand guards. A lot of people said that to keep the wind off your hands. I hope that will help with my hands. But no matter how heavy the gloves are, in the past they've never been warm enough if it was below about 45 degrees. When the cold started bothering me. Now when it didn't bother me, I might not have even worn any lined gloves. I might have just worn unlined gloves, but I've always worn leather gloves. I did have a pair of I think they were ski gloves. They were nylon. They worked pretty good on my hands, but they didn't come up over the sleeves of my jacket, and they let the cold air blow up the sleeves. So if you guys got any ideas to keep warm in the winter, especially those of you that ride where it gets cold. Some places it even gets colder than it gets here. It's usually in the 40s during the day here. But well, thank you very much. But there are days when it never gets out of the 20s. Not a whole lot. But there's lots of mornings. It's in the teens or single digits when you get up in the morning, and it's that way until at least 9 or 10 o'clock. Then it'll start going up. I'd say our average winter day is probably in the 40s, low to mid 40s. Even if it was like below zero the night before in the morning. Unless it was like 10 below. If it's 10 below, then that's probably the days that it only gets up into the 20s. That was one thing I miss about riding in Southern California is I don't care what time I got up in the morning, it was never below zero. I think the coldest it ever was like 25. Most of the time it was still well above freezing in the morning. Now during the summer on the coast, you'd have to wear a jacket, gloves, and chaps, or heavy pants. And that's as cold as it ever was on the coast in the winter time too. 50-some degrees. And if the sun came out, which it usually did in the winter, it was the summertime where it was all foggy along the coast all the time, at least until later in the afternoon. But the sun was almost always out in the winter, so even if it was only 50 degrees, it didn't feel like 50 like it does when it's all foggy. Anyway, what do you do to protect you from the cold? Do you do anything? I know some people have heated grips and heated seats. That's kind of out of the question for me unless I get another bike. I'm not going to spend the money on this bike to put those on. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to ride. 69 years old, and I can only ride 2 to 3 hours, tops 3 hours anyway. Then I have to get off for a while, and then I'm not good for that long again, and then it keeps getting shorter each time I rest. Keeps getting shorter. tonight, trying to catch up on your videos, trying to catch up watching. I finally thought I got caught up at 4:30 Saturday morning, went to bed, and then when I got up about 9:30, 9:15, there was a whole bunch more.